Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. We're on Team USA semifinals eve. Right now, the women are playing Nigeria as I record this. It's about 4:30 p.m. Eastern time on a Wednesday, August 7th. And all right, so something was floating around Heat Twitter in the ether today that, is right up my alley. I don't exactly love the source that it's coming from. If you even want to call it a source, it's more of a pot-stirring fodder of where it's coming from. But I do like the message. I don't love the messenger, but I do love the message. And you know what? We'll hear it on out. We'll hear it on out here for the sake of the video. But I saw this, I think, first on Hot Hoops, and then Emo Jimmy took it. Heat vs. Haters took it. I'm like, but I didn't see anybody have the clip. I was like, does anybody have the audio of this? Does anybody listen to the podcast? I don't even know if this is made up or not. But sure as bleep, on Bill Simmons' podcast, sports guy Bill Simmons, he had brought up the idea of Anthony Edwards cozying up to the Miami Heat. And just, they were doing a whole breakdown of the tournament, and then just, kind of was throwing out some rando topics. Now, he kind of teases here at the end. I'll play the clip for you just so you guys can get an idea of what he said. But he kind of is teasing his co-host here. The dude's name escapes me. Hold on, I apologize. Let me see. What was this guy's name again? Rob Mahoney. So you'll hear some banter back and forth on where this goes, but I do think the way that it read on Twitter was a little bit juicier than it sounded on a podcast, but it was juicy nonetheless because it lets you go down imagination alley. So let's hear what Lil Willie had to say.
Next topic. When does the first, Anthony Edwards really loves Bam Adebayo and Erik Spoelstra. He loved his experience with them. Don't be surprised, ... story drop.
I feel like we're already seeing.
Am I dropping it right now?
You might be dropping it now. I feel like I've heard more mumbling about the opposite, which is
Bam going to Minnesota?
Well, not Bam specifically, but Ant and KD seem to get along really well, right? Like his favorite player, someone he's idolized and looks up to. Wouldn't that be interesting if those two were to play together somewhere that's not Phoenix? In theory, luring Kevin Durant to Minnesota. I think that's the more likely outcome.
Oh, I like that one. Good. I'm glad I brought that up.
All right, there you go. So there's the podcast clip that was transcribed and put all around Heat Twitter and the Heat ether today. As as I said, I think that it reads a lot more juicy for Heat fans than it sounded coming out of Lil Willie's mouth, but it could just be Bill Simmons' mouth. Because, I don't know if he's pot stirring. I don't know if he is actually got some insight into it. Because I'm like, look, I'm sure Bill Simmons has plenty of connections. There are plenty of things that he's had to jump on. And I also think that, look, it's obvious if you've seen the way that Bam Adebayo's relationship has been around Anthony Edwards, the way that Erik Spoelstra has praised him and been around Anthony Edwards, the fact that Dwayne Wade, we've put the connection there, they were all there in Vegas together, they're all there in Paris together. These stories aren't swapped. And if I was a franchise and I was to be scared of a franchise that infiltrates Team USA and uses it to this advantage, this is an organization that actually has a past with it. Their most famous franchise haul happened at the roots of a Team USA. They had the same plan, infiltrate, with the Damian Lillard saga that started really in the Tokyo games with Bam Adebayo and Damian Lillard becoming very, very close at those Olympic Games. And you're seeing Bam all over the place. Look, we know Bam is a great connector and that he is all over there. And he, at that point, for a move like this, this is going to be Bam, whatever Jimmy's franchise future is, it most likely will not coincide with Anthony Edwards ever being on the Miami Heat. That's kind of the interesting part about it, right? Is if there is a contingency plan, however long Jimmy Butler plans on being with the Miami Heat, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, Anthony Edwards is just starting a 5-year extension, max extension with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So any idea of him realistically coming to the Miami Heat is probably 3 years away when he's about 26. So he'll still be at the peak of his powers, and Bam will be just pushing 30. So you would imagine with plenty of good basketball left as well. But yeah, he just signed a deal that's getting 42 this year, 45.5 the next year, 48.9 the next year, 52 the year after that. And it's not even a deal with an option. It has a $55.7 million fifth year before he's 28. But let's just say, you know how this works. A lot of guys aren't playing out their contracts anymore the way the NBA is going. They do want that extra guaranteed money, especially with how crazy the revenue will be. There'll be a new TV deal in there. So let's just say, on the good side of it, Anthony Edwards first turns down an extension. I'm no cap guru, but I'll just assume it's after year 3. And if he then turns it down, because look, will Anthony Edwards most likely finish out his career in Minnesota? I can't tell you, but I will say he has very annoying teammates. Rudy Gobert annoys everybody that he's been around, including his own national team. Karl Anthony Towns, samesies. His own coach got annoyed with him trying to score 60 last year in a loss. It's a cold-ass city, and I mean that literally. It's Minnesota. It doesn't get colder. It's a winter sport. If you're Anthony Edwards, do you want to spend your entire time freezing your ass off in Minnesota? I don't know. I can't say no. I can't say yes. I don't know him personally well enough, but we have seen plenty of stars that want to leave the middle states and go to the coasts. It's just how it has been. He also is dealing with a weird ownership thing where it's between a guy who was going to leave and then didn't want to leave and now is refusing to leave, and A-Rod. And both of those just seem like weird, not exactly stable situations that will be around him. So I don't know exactly, if this is just Bill Simmons' typical BS and fodder, or if this is based on something that he may know that may come out. I don't know. But I will say this. And bam, bam and and bam, bam and bam, Spo, and bam and Spo and bam and Hello? Well phone, sharpen the harpoons, boys. But you can't get too deep into it. You can't. It's again. This seems like something that's 3 years away. It is the West is stacked, and this was a year where he was kind of coronated the next MJ. He's doing interviews on, the Today Show about it. Oh, is this the next MJ? And what if he doesn't get it? What if he deals with the LeBron, deals with the KD, bangs his head into the wall year after year after year, and he gets sick of it? So, do I think this is something imminent? Not necessarily. Do I think that this is definitely something that every Heat fan should go, noted? Of course. That's why he was number 2 on my list that I came out with last week of most likely guys that could be recruited to the Miami Heat off of Team USA. He was number 2. I did tell you guys that I thought it would be years down the line. Most likely of an instantaneous gratification, well, I will go with Mr. Mahoney here. I think Kevin Durant leaving Phoenix, it's already kind of been in the atmosphere that he's not exactly loving it there. He doesn't stay too thrilled with things. So if I were to go with something that would be the most likely to come off this Team USA, yeah, I would go with Slim Reaper coming to the 305 and joining Bam Adebayo. Bam is a great teammate. Everybody seems to love him. All the stars seem to love him. And if I were a GM and I would who do I not want my best players hanging around? It would be Bam, because he plays in a great city. He plays for the best coach, and it's naturally going to strike again. It is. I know it's been frustrating, and I know for the Heat fan who's sick of it, they're like, why do we talk about this? Look, I'm plenty excited about everybody that's on the roster. but this is a groundswell. This is, if it wasn't for, hoodwinking Boston media and a big toddler as a general manager with Portland, it would have worked, and he would have done it for the second time with Damian Lillard. So they're going back to the well again this time. You're going to tell me that they're going to come up empty-handed out of this whole Team USA thing? I don't think so, dude.